right, so maybe you're starting a new business or you're launching a new offer and you want to DIY your brand, but you're feeling stuck on choosing your brand colors, and I don't want you to waste time on this. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you my quick and easy tips for choosing a color palette that's beautiful and cohesive, and you're going to be able to walk away with the hex codes that you need to start creating your graphics. I'm Rachel, founder of Haute Stock, the visual content membership for women entrepreneurs who want to stress less, save time, and show up online with confidence. So my first tip is to find a photo that you like and then use a tool to pull the colors from that photo to create the brand palette. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So I'm going to log into the Haute Stock library and choose a photo. Now, if you're not a Haute Stock member, that's fine. You can also do this by searching on Pinterest or doing a Google image search or anywhere where you find inspiration for images. The thing you want to keep in mind when you do this is your overall brand vibe or any of the keywords that you have in mind for your brand, such as minimal, modern, romantic, soft, cozy, whatever those keywords are, you could always pop them into the search and see what comes up. I already have a photo in mind that I want to use for this example. All right, so I'm going to choose a photo from our powder blue collection. I'll go ahead and download it. So once I've downloaded my photo, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Adobe Color wheel. It's color.adobe.com, and I'll put the link in the description below for you. But what you want to do then is go to extract theme, and you're going to want to upload your photo. All right, so my photo has been uploaded, and Adobe has actually beautifully pulled this color palette from the photo. And you'll see that down here, you've got these hex codes, which are what you're going to need for, let's say, a program like Canva to put in your color palette. So if you're happy with this palette, you can just go ahead and click on any one of these and it will copy it to your clipboard, which you could just put in notes or create a Word document or something like that to save the hex codes. Now, if you want to play around with this palette, you can come over here to the left-hand side and toggle between these different options. So we have colorful, bright, muted, deep, dark, and none. All right, so this photo doesn't have a ton of colors, so our color palettes didn't change too much, but you can see that there's definitely some variation here. And one thing that you want to keep in mind is that you're going to want to have a primary color, some secondary colors, and a darker color for things like fonts. Now, let's say you like this palette, but you want to play around with it a little bit more. You can actually move these little sliders around and create your own custom palette, which is pretty cool. All right, so that's it for my first tip. Find a photo that you like, upload it to Adobe Color, and then see what color palette comes out of that. For my second tip, we're back in the Haute Stock library, but this time I want more options. I don't just want to choose one photo, I want to choose an actual collection of images because I think it might give me a more robust color palette. So I'm going to go ahead and select a collection from the library that I think will have some colors that I'd want to use for my brand. Again, you want to think about things like your brand keywords. You also want to think about things like your industry. So let's say, for example, I'm in the health and wellness industry and I want to choose this desert yoga collection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out by pressing Command and minus. And I'm going to take a screenshot of the photos in this collection. So instead of pulling a color palette just from one photo, I'm going to pull it from the entire collection. All right, so now that I have my screenshot, I'm going to go back into the Adobe Color wheel and pull it up. So if you're still here on your previous photo, just click on Replace Image and you'll be able to pull up a new one. Okay, so I've pulled up my new image that I'm using to create the color palette, and this time it's more than one photo. It's an actual entire collection of images. I've just taken a screenshot. And the reason that I did that is because it gives me a little bit more options. Now, in Haute Stock, our images are always cohesive, so you know that you're going to get a brand palette that looks good, that is cohesive, but it will give you more variety than just choosing a single photo. I actually really love this palette, but let's see what other options Adobe has for us over here. All right, so that's our bright palette. We've got our muted palette, which honestly, I absolutely adore. You've got your deep palette, your dark palette, and then of course you can go to none and also change around. So let's say I wanted to like pull in a little bit of green. Maybe I'm not really loving this peach. I can always take this slider and pull in this green color. And what you want to do is you just kind of want to scroll around the various parts of the photo until you get to a green that you really like. So this is a really fun, vibrant color palette that I could see being used for a health and wellness brand that's all about joyful living. All right, so for tip number 3, I suggest that you search for images with a brand color that you have in mind. Let's say you know that you want to use pink. Maybe you're not quite sure what shade of pink you want, but you're pretty sure you want pink in your branding. Search for some pink images and let's go from there. So I'm going to filter by blush because I know that I want a softer pink. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to favorite some of the images that come up that I like. Go ahead and favorite anything that catches your eye. And remember, you really are looking for images that have the shade of blush or the shade of pink that you think you want to use in your brand. It doesn't have to be exact, and you do want to get a variety. All right, so once I've selected a few pink images for my brand, then I'm going to think about what secondary color I might want in my branding. And I'm thinking I want green, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So again, I'll scroll through and I'll look for any images with green in them that I may want to incorporate into my branding. I'm looking not specifically at the image, but I'm looking at the shades and hues of the greens or pinks or whatever colors I think I want in my branding. And what I'm going to do essentially is create a custom collection by going to my favorites. So once I've favorited the images that I want, then I'm going to take a screenshot and I'll upload that to the Adobe Color wheel. Now, if you're not a Haute Stock member, no worries. You can also do this in Pinterest. Go to Pinterest and create a board and then start pinning images in the colors that you think you're going to want to use for your brand. Once you've done that, you can take a screenshot of your board and take it into Adobe Color wheel to get your brand color palette. If you need some brand color inspo, follow us on Pinterest because we have tons of color coordinated boards. All right, so I've taken my screenshot and I will upload this to Adobe. Okay, so I'm kind of loving this palette. It's super fun, a little bit funky, very cheerful, very bold and bright. I really love this method of creating your color palette by pulling it from photos because it allows you to actually visualize the kinds of images that you could use as part of your branding really easily. Obviously, if you've pulled a color palette from this set of images, you could use any of these images in addition to your brand colors to create custom graphics for marketing your business. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I think choosing your brand colors is a lot of fun. It definitely can be something that you can get stuck on, but just remember the 3 tips I shared with you today. Pull a photo, put it in the color wheel, see what comes up. You can always adjust by moving those little sliders around. Pull from a cohesive stock photo collection so that you have more options in terms of the range of colors in the palette, but you know it's still going to look good together. Or curate your own collection of images, either using Haute Stock favorites or a Pinterest board, and take a screenshot, put it into the color wheel, and you will have a really fun custom palette plus a set of images that you can envision using for your brand. So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more tips on branding, graphic design, and visual content creation. And if you want to find out more about Haute Stock, there's a link in the description below.